undefeated. Undefeated. Who do you think that you are? When I tell y'all that I run things, y'all better believe me. Spin the earth on my finger like round ball. I'm a globetrotter. It's easy. No lie.
What up, everybody in the YTPC? So, first off, I would like to go ahead and congratulate Brook, Chris Eubank Jr., and Andre Ward. Now, I didn't watch the Chris Eubank Jr. or Brook fight, so I'm not really gonna speak much on those. Been kind of a busy weekend. Saturday, the only fight, I didn't even get to watch the JoJo Diaz fight. The only fight I really did actually get to watch is the Andre Ward fight. So that is the fight that I'm going to talk about. I am going to try to watch the other two fights later, but and possibly give my thoughts on those. Well, I'll kind of give the thoughts that I have right now, based off of what I know. As far as Chris Eubank Jr. is concerned, you know, I think he's just trying to build himself up a little bit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the way he's doing it. You know, he's a nice young kid, and he shows a lot of promise, so I don't see anything wrong with what he's doing. Brook, and keep in mind, I'm a Brook fan, but Brook, I hope all this talk that he's been saying before the Bazir fight is real, because he does need to step it up. Ever since he won that title, he really hasn't fought anybody who deserved a title shot, really. I mean, he had, you know, his mandatory, which I believe was JoJo Dan. You know, we really can't hold that against him, but, you know, now he fought Frankie Gavin, and now Bazir, which, to my understanding, Bazir was a mandatory as well. So, I mean, I guess can't be too mad at him, but I really hope that, you know, all this talk he's been talking about, trying to fight some of these other names is real, because he really needs to step it up on the competition. You know, he's considered the #1 welterweight right now by a lot of people, and he's really not showing it. And like I said, I like Brook. I'm a Brook fan, but gotta call it how it is. And I think he really needs to step it up. I mean, I know he tried to get the Khan fight, that didn't happen, but he shouldn't be, you know, fighting bums until, or, you know, I shouldn't say bums, but he should be fighting competitive opposition, is what I should say. He should be fighting competitive opposition instead of, you know, what he's been doing. So, I mean, he got a second round knockout. Bazir was clearly not in his league. So, all right, now let me go ahead and get to Andre Ward, because this is the fight that I actually got to see. And all I gotta say is Andre Ward doesn't show any signs of being past his prime. At the age of, he's either 30 or 31. He's not showing any signs of being past his prime, which is good. You know, he was looking really good against Barrera. I wasn't expecting him to knock down Barrera at all. It was either the third or fourth, I believe it was the fourth round where he got knocked down. Really, the only round I was able to give Barrera was the second round. That's the only round I gave Barrera. Barrera was just more active in that round. I think he did better in that round, but ultimately he was dominated by Andre Ward. And I did expect the fight to be a lot closer. I thought it was one of those fights that was going to be more of a pick'em fight, because I didn't even want to give a prediction, and I even said that if I had to, I'd have to lean toward Barrera. But it's like I said, it's hard to gauge a fighter who has been inactive, you know. And especially it being his first, his first fight at light heavyweight, and then Sullivan Barrera kind of was untested, so it's kind of hard to gauge him as well. But we definitely got a good gauge on both of them, and clearly Barrera is not on Andre Ward's level. But I will give credit where credit is due. Barrera lasted the full 12 rounds, so it wasn't like there was a TKO or anything like that. As far as Barrera is concerned, I would like to see more of him. I hope that, I hope that he, gets some fights, that'll test him a little bit more. I think Andre Ward was just a bit more than he could chew. And, maybe he should fight, I don't know, Gonzalez or Shabransky or somebody like that. As far as Andre Ward is concerned, I mean, he's on the right path as long as his next fight is more competitive than Barrera. I give Ward 100% credit on beating Barrera. I don't think it was a robbery. I think, I think Andre Ward won the fight. So there was no question on the scorecards. As far as the ref definitely was not in his pocket, and that I want to talk about a little bit. All right, the low blow. I don't have a problem with the ref deducting a point for the low blow. I do think that it wasn't intentional. But the thing is, the way Andre Ward does his low blows, his style just, I don't know, to me, a lot of his body shots look like low blows, and I don't think that they were. I just think it was just his style. But it's his responsibility to make sure that his, whether it's due to his style or not, it's his responsibility to make sure that all punches are above the belt. And I mean, could it have been Barrera faking, that he was hurt from a low blow? It could have been, but to be honest, I don't think that's what it was. I think it was a legitimate low blow. I don't think it was intentional, but too many times we see like where the bigger name in a fight will get away with things, and that's what I liked about this, is that the referee was calling it fair. If Barrera did something he wasn't supposed to do, he would get on to him about it. If Ward did, which he got on to Ward a couple times, and you could hear the crowd there in Oakland just getting on to him. And just for the fact that, he was doing the right thing, I have no problem with the way the refereed the fight. And he kept it fair. At one point he even let Ward know, because of the cut on his eye being done by a headbutt, that if they had to stop the fight due to the bleed, it wouldn't be on a technical knockout against Ward. It would go to the cards. So I think the ref actually did a very, very good job in the fight. He's a very fair ref. I think he didn't let the booze in Oakland get to him. So I think he did a great job in this fight. But Andre Ward, I think, now that I've seen him fight a worthy opponent after all this time, I do think that the Kovalev fight is way closer than I initially thought. I think that's going to be more of a 50-50 fight now, because before I was thinking Kovalev was just going to beat him. But I feel very differently now. I think that it could really go either way. we also have to see how Ward is against a better opponent at light heavyweight. So we got to see what happens there, because because keep in mind, Barrera was still untested. So we were going by what we've seen from him so far, and he looked good. He didn't look good against Ward. You know, I still give him props for going 12 rounds and everything, but he didn't look good against Ward. He looked severely outclassed. And you know, I think that Ward put a very good performance against a very good opponent. But now, I think if he is going to take another fight before he fights Kovalev, it needs to be a step up for sure. You know, he showed how much better he was than Barrera. He needs to fight a much, much better opponent now. And that'll definitely, if he can fight a much, much better opponent and make them look just as bad as he made Barrera look, then we may be seeing a new light heavyweight champion by the end, late this year or early next year. Sorry guys, there's the garbage truck right there. But those are my thoughts on the fight. As on Andre Ward, I just want to address the boxing fans, because I am an Andre Ward fan, and I'm not saying that this is every fan that's not an Andre Ward fan doing this, but I do know that there's a lot of people not giving him credit for this. One of the excuses that I hear a lot is the fans. You know, some people cannot stand fighters because of their fans. Well, every single fighter has fanboys. Every single fighter has irrational fans. And that's just the truth. Even your own favorite fighters have irrational fans. Okay, so the excuse of the fan base is why you don't like a fighter doesn't really make any sense. And that goes for Triple G, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. They're all guilty of it, which is funny because they're guilty of it, but it's not really their fault to an extent. But I don't think that's a very good excuse as to why not to like a fighter because of their fan base. Because I'm sure the fighters that you do have fans that are just as irrational. It's just you don't notice it because you don't bump heads with them. If you were to bump heads with them, you would see that they're just as irrational as you, as irrational as other fighters' fans, because you're not going to bump heads with them because you agree. You're never going to make a comment they're going to come and jump on you about. So it's not really a good excuse. Now, some people I know don't like Andre Ward because of his, some people say that he's kind of arrogant. Some people feel that he's fake. Here's one thing you have to understand about Andre Ward. He does work on his image, and it may be fake to a certain extent. Now, I do think that he's genuinely a nice guy. I do think he genuinely is a respectful guy. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he does have a certain facade about him. If you don't believe me, all you gotta do is watch he did like a little interview on the side there at it was the Kovalev Pascal fight, if I'm not mistaken. At the Kovalev Pascal fight, they had like a little interview before the fight was about to start with Andre Ward, because he wasn't a commentator on that fight, but he was there. So, and when they were talking to Andre Ward, you know, they would ask him a question, he'd answer it, And then if you notice, he'd look at the camera, like dead into the camera, and have this smile that he didn't have while he was talking. Then they ask him another question. He'd look at Jim Lampley. I believe Jim Lampley was the one asking him. He'd answer it, and then he'd put that same fake smile on his face and look at the camera. And, you know, that's all PR. You can't be mad at him about that, you know, because fact of the matter is we've had a lot of fighters who have been real in the past. I'm not saying that a fighter can't be real, but some fighters have looked like complete dumbasses in interviews. I think Andre Ward is going for a more intelligent perception. So, you know, but people who are very smart are going to see past that. I mean, it's like I said, I like Andre Ward, but I'm not going to lie. Just look up that interview if you can. You'll see what I'm talking about. Like every time he talks, he's like a normal person. And then, because he sounds eloquent just when he talks anyway, so he doesn't have to do anything there. But then as soon as he's done, you know, it's almost like he's putting on a mask. So, but it's like I said, you really can't be too mad at him about that. I think people let their emotions get a little bit too mixed up in it when it comes to the fans, you know, because it happens to Andre Ward, but guess what? It also happens to Triple G. I hear people say, I don't like Triple G because his fan base. Well, he's not his fan base. He has no control over what his fan base does. You know, if a fan of his goes and breaks into somebody's car and steals a laptop, he has no control over that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hate Triple G because one of his fans stole a laptop out of your friend's car. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like I said, every boxer has their irrational fans. The only reason why you don't see it from your boxer is because you're not gonna bump heads, because you already agree. There's nothing to bump heads on. So it was a good, I think it was a good fight weekend. I think, you know, hats off to Barrera, hats off to Ward for taking the fight and winning in dominant fashion. And he definitely wasn't a pushover. I definitely think that the next fight, if it's not going to be Kovalev, needs to be a big step up, because Kovalev is not Barrera. So, but anyways, anybody who has subscribed to me, or if you just watch my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.
Undefeated.